You would never imagine that there are 170 people in the world who literally live inside the crater of an active volcano. You certainly didn't know that there's an island in Japan where houses don't have numbers because everyone knows each other and most share the same last name. There are few places in the world where you can cook your eggs using steam directly from a volcano that could erupt at any moment. Can you imagine living in a place where a volcano took the lives of almost half the population just 240 years ago, and yet people returned there? Come discover with the extraordinary world channel Aogashima, Japan's smallest village, which is literally a volcano within another volcano lost in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, where living is a daily adventure between absolute tranquility and imminent danger. Pay attention and don't miss this video because we guarantee that discovering Aogashima will surprise you. The most isolated and dangerous place in Japan. One of the most impressive realities of this place is that Aogashima sits 358 kilometers south of Tokyo, lost in the Philippine Sea, and can only be reached in two ways: a 20-minute helicopter flight that costs 530 yens, about $80, or a 3-hour boat trip that only happens when the sea allows it. To give you an idea of how isolated it is, the boat only manages to reach the island on about 60% of attempts due to extreme maritime conditions. Just imagine, while you're reading this, there might be tourists trapped on the island for days waiting for the weather to improve so they can leave. The island has no adequate natural harbor due to the steep volcanic cliffs that surround it, so boats must dock at a small concrete structure that's completely at the mercy of Pacific waves. Many visitors plan to stay one day and end up spending an entire week stranded, depending totally on nature to decide when they'll be able to return home. A volcano inside another volcano. World's unique geography. If you thought you had already seen impressive volcanic landscapes, you were wrong, because Aogashima is literally a giant volcanic crater with another smaller volcano called Maruyama inside it. The island has only 8.75 square kilometers. Imagine a space smaller than many neighborhoods in New York, but within it exists this geological formation that looks like something straight out of a movie like Jurassic Park. The highest point of the island reaches 423 meters above sea level, offering landscapes that contrast fascinatingly with the infinite blue of the Pacific Ocean. What makes this even more impressive is that Aogashima was formed by the overlapping of at least 4 underwater volcanic calderas over thousands of years. The outer caldera has a 1.5-kilometer diameter, while inside it you can literally walk to the smaller volcanic cone and observe geothermal steam constantly emerging from the earth. It's like being on two different planets at the same time. On the outside you see black rocky cliffs plunging straight into the ocean. On the inside you find a green valley with a small smoking volcano in the center. The tragedy that shaped local history. Would you dare to live in a place where in 1785, a volcano took the lives of 130 out of 327 people who lived there, almost half the population? Although this may seem strange, the reality is that after this devastating catastrophe, the island was completely abandoned for 50 years. But there's a reality few people know. In 1835, a man named Sasaki Jiro Dayu led a brave expedition of survivors and descendants to recolonize their homeland, even knowing the risks. The eruption lasted 4 years, from 1781 to 1785, with a series of earthquakes and volcanic events that gradually transformed the island's landscape. The survivors who fled to the neighboring island of Hachijojima kept alive the memory and dream of returning for 5 entire decades. When they finally came back, they found a completely transformed island, new terrain, different steam vents, altered vegetation. Today you can still visit the resettlement monument and the tomb of Sasaki Jiro Dayu, who became a local hero for his determination to reclaim his people's ancestral homeland. Japan's smallest village with unique community life. To give you an idea of how different life in Aogashima is, you just need to know there are only 170 inhabitants, fewer people than many residential buildings in the United States. One of the most surprising peculiarities is that houses don't have street numbers, simply because everyone knows each other and most residents share the same surnames. Walking through the streets, you'll see a single elementary school with only 25 students, 1 post office, and no restaurants, just 2 traditional Japanese bars. What's interesting is that some residents actually estimate that the real population is even smaller, closer to just 50 people who truly live on the island year-round. The population density is so low that each resident has on average more than 500 square meters just for themselves. While in Tokyo each person has only a few square meters, the postal system works peculiarly since there are no numbered addresses. Mail arrives simply with the person's name. In Aogashima village, the postman personally knows all the residents and their houses. Education and the drama of family separation. What you may not know is that all young people in Aogashima must leave the island at age 15 to continue their studies in Hoshijojima or on the mainland. It's common to see families bidding farewell to their teenage children without knowing when or if they will return home. Many young people end up building their lives away from the island, contributing to the constant population decline that worries the older residents. Imagine the emotional pain of these families, children who grew up playing in a volcano's crater, knowing every rock and every person on the island, suddenly need to adapt to life in big cities with millions of inhabitants. Ogashima's school only serves from preschool through elementary school and often has more teachers than students in some classes. Educational costs are subsidized by the Tokyo government, including transportation and housing for young people on the larger islands. But the psychological impact of separation is immeasurable. Some families even relocate permanently to accompany their children, further accelerating the exodus from their ancestral island. Economy based on volcanic treasures. The main activities on the island are agriculture, fishing, and a very special source of income: the production of Hingia salt, a calcium-rich salt extracted using the geothermal heat of the volcano. This salt is only produced in Aogashima and is considered a delicacy in Japan, being sold as a souvenir and even used as a skin lotion. The residents also produce their own shochu, Japanese alcoholic beverage made from local sweet potatoes, and shimadare sauce, which accompanies raw fish dishes. The Hingia salt production process is fascinating. Seawater is naturally heated by volcanic steam in special structures built near the geothermal outlets. This ancestral evaporation method creates salt crystals with unique mineral properties that don't exist anywhere else in the world. Tourism represents a growing source of income, although limited by accommodation capacity. Each visitor who manages to reach the island spends an average of 15,000 to 20,000 yen per day, including accommodation, meals, and activities, but the island receives only a few hundred tourists per year due to access difficulties. Living with free volcanic energy. Just imagine being able to cook your food using steam directly from a volcano. In Aogashima, geothermal gas provides public saunas, thermal baths, hot water, and a unique form of cooking that has become one of the main tourist attractions. It's popular among visitors and residents to cook eggs and potatoes using these natural volcanic steam vents, a true free public kitchen provided by nature. The main geothermal complex is located near the Maruyama volcanic cone, where holes in the ground release constant steam at temperatures up to 100 degrees Celsius. Residents have built concrete structures over these natural openings, creating steam ovens that operate 24 hours a day, 365 days a year at no cost. The public saunas are powered by this same system, offering thermal baths with medicinal properties due to the volcanic minerals dissolved in the water. It's surreal to see people relaxing in hot waters while literally sitting on top of an active volcano. Domestic heating is also geothermal, making Aogashima one of the world's most sustainable communities in terms of energy. Transportation, a risky adventure. But that's not all about the difficulty of accessing Aogashima. First, you need to fly from Tokyo to Hoshijojima, 55 minutes, then face the final crossing. The helicopter costs the equivalent of almost $75 per person and carries only 9 passengers, operating just once a day when weather permits. The boat, which costs about $17, is actually a cargo ship with tatami mats, where passengers sit on the floor or stay on the open deck, facing the ocean waves. The helicopter departs at 9:20 a.m. from Hoshijojima and takes exactly 20 minutes to reach Aogashima, but can be canceled due to fog, strong winds, or any weather instability. The landing area is a tiny heliport on top of a hill, where ocean winds create impressive turbulence during landing. The boat trip is even more adventurous. The cargo ship Ashiji Maru primarily transports supplies to the island, and passengers share space with food crates, construction materials, and even vehicles. During storms, waves can exceed 4 meters in height, making the journey a true oceanic roller coaster that tests the limits of any stomach. Before we continue our adventure, Make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying these curiosities. And if you're not subscribed yet, click the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our incredible destinations. Your participation makes all the difference and helps us tremendously. Now let's continue our journey. Adventure tourism and unique experiences. If you would like to visit Aogashima, know that there are only 6 accommodation establishments on the island, costing between 7,000 to 9,000 yens per night, about $47 to $61, including 3 meals. One of the most sought-after attractions is stargazing, especially on the north coast, where there are no houses or street lighting. A place nicknamed by the Japanese as the Colosseum of Stars, where your only company will be some cows and a breathtaking night sky. The accommodations range from traditional rajokans to family guest houses, all operated by local residents who treat visitors like family. Imagine sleeping on a futon while listening to the constant sound of volcanic steam escaping through the ground around you. Activities include diving in the crystal-clear Aogashima blue waters, trails that lead to the inner volcanic cone, fishing in waters that reach depths of over 1,000 meters just meters from the shore, and camping inside the volcanic crater, an experience that few places in the world can offer. Astronomical observation is so exceptional that professional astronomers regularly visit the island for deep space studies and photography. Volcanic risk classification, Class C, although it may seem controversial, the reality is that Aogashima is classified as a Class C active volcano by the Japan Meteorological Agency, which means it presents potential risk. On one hand, the last eruption was 240 years ago, but on the other hand, by geological standards, that's practically yesterday. The residents live with this awareness, but have chosen to accept the risk in exchange for the tranquility and unique natural beauty that the island offers. The Class C classification indicates that the volcano has a history of explosive activity and potential to cause significant damage if it erupts again. Seismic monitoring systems are installed throughout the island, constantly transmitting data to the Volcanic Surveillance Center in Tokyo. Small tremors are regularly recorded, reminding residents that they live above a geological force that is dormant but not extinct. There is an emergency evacuation plan that can be activated within hours, but the irony is that evacuation would depend on exactly the same limited means of transportation that already make life on the island so challenging under normal conditions. Surprising basic infrastructure. And if you found that impressive, there's an entire infrastructure functioning in this isolated mini-society. The island has a geothermal electrical grid, internet, telephone service, a waste collection system, and even functional postal services. Mail from Aogashima reaches anywhere in Japan faster than many urban deliveries here in the United States. The main street is well structured, with proper paving and complete signage. The electricity supply is 100% renewable, generated by small geothermal power plants that harness the constant volcanic heat. Internet reaches the island via satellite, offering surprisingly high speeds for such a remote place. Some residents work remotely for companies in Tokyo. The water treatment system is self-sufficient, capturing rainwater and water from naturally filtered volcanic springs. There's even a small gas station for the few cars and agricultural machines on the island, supplied by tanker ships that make the dangerous crossing once a month. The most impressive thing is that this entire system functions with maintenance from technicians who come from the mainland only occasionally. Natural phenomena and biodiversity. This place offers landscapes that contrast fascinatingly with what we would expect from a volcanic island. Aogashima has no beaches due to the steep cliffs that completely surround it, but compensates with lush tropical vegetation that covers the entire interior crater. The fauna includes Japanese black cattle raised in the pastures of Juman Kyoto Ranch, located 200 meters above sea level, where it's common to see people grazing animals inside an active volcano. The island's biodiversity is unique due to evolutionary isolation. There are species of plants and insects that are only found in Aogashima. The vegetation varies dramatically between the rocky outer edge and the green interior of the crater, creating distinct microclimates within just a few square kilometers. During the rainy season, temporary waterfalls emerge from the volcanic cliffs, creating natural spectacles that last only a few days. The marine life around the island is exceptionally rich, due to deep currents and crystal-clear waters, with diving visibility reaching up to 50 meters. It's possible to spot pilot whales, dolphins, and sea turtles that use the nearby waters as a migratory route through the Pacific. Cost of living comparison. Despite being administratively part of the Tokyo metropolis, the cost of living in Aogashima is paradoxically higher in some aspects due to isolation. All manufactured products, fuel, and equipment need to be transported by helicopter or boat, significantly increasing the price of basic items. On the other hand, housing, geothermal energy, and many local foods are practically free or extremely cheap. A liter of milk can cost the equivalent of $2.50 due to transportation, while a house with a volcano view can be rented for less than $34 per month. Electricity is free for basic domestic use, since it comes directly from volcanic heat. Basic products like rice, pasta, and canned goods cost 2 to 3 times more than in Tokyo due to extreme logistical costs. On the other hand, fresh fish, local vegetables, and drinking water are abundant and cheap. Imagine paying $8.50 for a simple LA battery, but being able to cook for free using natural volcanic steam. It's a completely inverted economy where nature provides free luxuries, but modern civilization charges astronomical prices. Climate change impact. But there's a reality that few know about: the future challenges of Aogashima. Climate change is intensifying Pacific storms, making access to the island even more irregular. Some years residents can go weeks without receiving supplies due to consecutive bad weather, forcing the community to develop increasingly creative self-sufficiency strategies. The increased frequency of typhoons has been canceling helicopter flights and boat crossings for increasingly longer periods. In 2023, the island was completely isolated for 17 consecutive days due to a sequence of tropical storms. This forces residents to maintain larger emergency stockpiles and develop more sophisticated food preservation techniques. Paradoxically, ocean warming is also bringing changes to marine life around the island, with tropical species appearing in waters that were previously cooler. Local fishermen report changes in fish migratory patterns, forcing adaptations in traditional fishing techniques. Sea level rise, although minimal, is gradually altering boat docking points, requiring modifications to the already precarious port infrastructure. Future perspective. What you might not know is that there's a Japanese government program offering financial incentives to attract new residents to rural areas like Aogashima. Families who move to the island can receive up to 1 million yens, about $6,700, to help with adaptation. But even so, the population continues to slowly decline year after year. The demographic challenge is real. The population reached a peak of 754 inhabitants in 1889, and today there are only 117, a reduction of almost 80% over a century. The government is exploring creative solutions, including remote work programs that would allow urban professionals to live on the island while maintaining jobs in Tokyo. There are plans to improve telecommunications infrastructure and create co-working centers powered by geothermal energy, transforming Aogashima into one of the world's most unique offices. Some visionaries propose developing sustainable scientific and educational tourism, where researchers and students could stay on the island for long-term studies on volcanology, sustainability, and community life. The big question is whether it will be possible to attract new residents without destroying exactly what makes Aogashima special: its authenticity, simplicity, and deep connection with nature. The unique experience of visiting. To conclude our journey through this fascinating place, would you like to visit a place where you can literally touch rocks formed by lava from an active volcano while watching steam rising from the earth around you? Aogashima offers hiking trails that lead to the Oyamatenbo Park Observatory, where you have a 360-degree view of the double crater, being able to see even other islands on clear days. At night, the experience transforms into what many consider the best stargazing location in all of Japan. The hike to the inner volcanic cone takes only 30 minutes, but it's a journey through landscapes that seem from another planet. You can literally place your hand over fissures in the rock where hot steam constantly emerges. The sensory experience is overwhelming. The smell of volcanic sulfur, the constant sound of escaping steam, the sensation of geothermal heat under your feet, all while contemplating an infinite oceanic panorama. During the dry season, it's possible to camp inside the volcanic crater. Imagine falling asleep under a starry sky knowing you're literally sleeping on top of an active volcano. For many visitors, Aogashima represents the ultimate adventure, a place that combines extreme natural beauty, real risk, and a human community that chose to live in harmony with natural forces that could destroy it at any moment. As you've seen, Aogashima is a place of fascinating contrast where the most dangerous nature coexists with absolute tranquility, where modern technology blends with ancient traditions, and where a small community of brave souls chose to live literally on top of an active volcano. It's an impressive example of how humans can adapt to the planet's most challenging environments, creating a unique society that functions in harmony with geological forces that could destroy it at any moment. We hope this journey to Ogashima has been as exciting for you as it was for us. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed yet, don't wait any longer. This is the best way to support the channel and discover more fascinating places like this. Hit the bell to never miss the fascinating videos we make every week about the most surprising and unknown corners of our planet. Videos like these you can watch now to discover another of the most fascinating corners of the planet. And who knows, plan your next adventure to one of these unique places in the world. Don't forget to comment on what impressed you most about Ogashima and whether you would live there. See you on the next journey.